couple creeps in the mid lane first, and then rotate over. I like Lich in both as part of a dual offlane and also as part of being just a straight up lane support. But I think that given that you already have the IO Tiny matchup, you're going to need a really, really sort of sustainable safe lane hero if you don't end up picking the Lich for that support role. Huskar is going to be the option now, so kind of an interesting one there. Tiny obviously can deal out a lot of damage early, but there is a lot of magical damage on this squad, so we'll see if they're going to be able to deal with that Huskar. Certainly a lot of other heroes in the pool that could deal with the Huskar pretty well. Bane is something that always comes to my mind, but with Lich already picked up, it seems like it would be very difficult, and just a Lich against a Huskar solo in the offlane, if you did run Lich that way, would probably not go super well. Other heroes, just straight up pure damage. You could go for sort of a fighty safe lane if you wanted to. Maybe something like a PA. We saw that picked in the last series, although I don't know if we should really compare last series to anything else that's ever been done in Dota, because that was just ridiculous. But I don't know. We'll see. What else is there that's still in the pool now? It's also worth knowing Ember was picked in that last series, which I found a little bit interesting as well. I think that Gyrocopter still in the pool makes some amount of sense, but Huskar can kind of tear you apart as well. And if you do want to go for the Huskar, or if you do want to go for the Gyro, you tend to need a defensive support to keep you alive anyways. And with Dazzle already out of the pool and Complexity already banning out Winter Wyvern, that doesn't seem that great. They need people that are a little bit more tanky, somebody who's more robust and going to be able to deal with a Huskar sort of pounding on you consistently, or maybe somebody who's a natural Silver Edge carrier. Wind Ranger is going to be the option. The effective HP answer is what they're going to be going for. With Wind Run there, obviously, you're going to be able to get away from Huskar and make sure that those Burning Spears aren't going to tear you apart.
10 seconds remaining.
Another couple of sets of bans here. As far as what Complexity have, I do feel like they need a few more stuns in whatever their safe lane is. Wraith King is always an option for being able to stun early, but against the Huskar, that's pretty tough. It's a big ask. Maybe a Sven? I feel like a Sven actually could be pretty good for Complexity Gaming, because already another hero that can combo very effectively with the IO. The only problem that you'd end up having is that then your sort of stacks, there's competition between the two heroes as to who wants to take them, between the Tiny and the Sven. Slardar is going to be the next banned hero for the Radiant. They don't want to run into that guy. That's a pretty good one as well, because if you do relocate in with him, you're going to be able to dole out a nice stun. He doesn't need as much farm as a Sven does to be really effective, and maybe with the Tiny, they feel like they're going to be able to deal with it well enough. But I still think Sven would be pretty good. He deals very well with Huskar. Obviously, with Dazzle already being there, that creates some problems. Maybe you just run like a safe lane Axe. That's a possibility here. Or a safe lane Wind Ranger with a Lich Axe dual offlane. You're going to run into problems there with just the Huskar against the Axe straight up, though. Very, very interesting. I do think that Axe would be kind of an
Beastmaster.
his own right, but the laning stage and where you put him is probably going to be the biggest problem. Beastmaster is going to be thrown out there as well, another hero that can deal pretty well with IO Tiny. You just yell in their face very loudly and they sort of spread apart and end up having to separate a little bit longer, get the long duration stun. Also a great laning hero. And if you think about this in terms of the offlane, this could mean now that you have a dual support combo of the Tusk Dazzle. You could also run Beastmaster as a support, but I think that getting up those levels of Roar is more worth it.
5 seconds remaining.
So I like the Beastmaster in the offlane there with the Tusk Dazzle dual combo, being able to throw out a heal bomb with a snowball. That to me seems very strong. And they do go for Axe for Complexity. I like that pick. I think that makes a ton of sense. So new heroes all over. It looks like it is going to be Swindle is going to be playing in that offlane role. Wind Ranger going to the mid lane. A Lich looking to be there. Oh, interesting. So they're actually going to be running IO Tiny safe. Very, very interesting. Okay. All right. Well, here we go.
Prepare for battle.
One apparently. Oh, there we go. All right, we're great. We're in game where everybody can hear us. Wonderful. So let's do a quick little introduction for all of the players. Swindle's going to be playing on that axe. Do have Pingvinnik, who's going to be playing the Wind Ranger. Z-Freak is going to be on the Lich. To the side, Z is going to be playing that Tiny, and last but not least, Lad is going to be on the IO. Meanwhile, skulking on up through the jungle is going to be Void Boys. We have Sakula is going to be playing the Tusk. Omega Poner is going to be on that Queen of Pain. Fly is going to be playing the Dazzle. We got Sneaking who's going to be playing the Beastmaster, and last but not least, Pat Soul on the Huskar, wrapping around, seeing if they can potentially find somebody. With the Tiny IO already breaking down some of these trees, though, it does seem like they might be able to find this if this happens. They do end up spotting them out, and immediately Tiny is going to run away. Keeping good vision there. Oh, the Snowball is going to be going forward. I think that he gets away from this, though, with the tether target there. Maybe a turnaround Avalanche does go down. I don't think that they want to fight this, though. There's a lot of damage, and the Boar Slow there as well. It can be really, really scary. Maybe they get the kill on the board. Nice. Easy last hit there for the Wind Ranger, taking every little advantage that you can possibly get. And Io is going to be content to go on over here and pick on up his bottle. Might be heading down into this bottom lane. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, they're going back to the mid. Or the top, rather. Yeah, I think that Wind Ranger... Well, okay, apparently Io Tiny's sitting mid. So, okay, switching things up a little bit. Z's going to be taking over that mid role now. Swindle's in the offlane axe. And for Void Boys, we're going to have Dazzle at least sticking around a little bit longer to help on out Mr. Huskar over here against the IO Tiny. Top lane, as far as this goes, I kind of feel like, again, it's sort of the same similar type of matchup that you have in the mid lane with Tusk here as well. Queen of Pain's going to have a... Oh, actually, Wind Ranger's going to have a bit of a tough time. I was going to say that the big reason, one of the reasons that I feel like Queen of Pain does do so well against Wind Ranger and lane is because you're able to rune control significantly more effectively. But the big problem that you're having here, obviously, is rune control isn't really going to matter that much. So I think that if it was just those two against each other in the lane alone, Wind Ranger probably ends up doing a little bit better than the Queen of Pain. But now that you're sort of bringing the Tusk into the equation, it makes it a little bit more tough. I still think that he can get pretty much whatever he wants here, but running the Beastmaster up against this axe is so devastating. Look at all the damage that's being piled out. The battle hunger there, as well as the spins going on. It's just really hard to be able to deal with that at all. And now they're going to rotate lanes also. So Io Tiny is going to be going on up to the top lane. This makes a lot of sense. It is going to mean that Wind Ranger is only level 2 versus, well, Huskar's only level 2 too, because he's been dual laning. But still, the big difference is going to be this bottom lane and how well Sneaking is going to be able to deal with this axe down here. It's really tough. All right. He's continuing to hit away. Last hits and denies. Top of the net worth is going to be that axe so far. 10-3 against this Beastmaster. He just basically destroys any of these other melee heroes here. Lich picks on up the bounty rune. This is going to mean that Dazzle's not really going to be able to do anything. We do have, actually, net worth-wise, the real person on top is the Huskar, who's already got his boots on up and doesn't necessarily need that bottle anytime soon. Feeling very comfortable with where he's at currently. More right clicks abound, though. God, just deals so much here. And we might end up seeing, like, so Beastmaster, if he stays in lane here, he's just going to keep on getting battle hunger down, and no real amount of regen is going to be able to keep him alive forever here. He does toss on out the axes. He thought about it, wasn't able to get the kill on those creeps, so wanted to save it. The Boar Slow does help a lot, and the fact that he's so fast is really going to be able to mean he's going to do okay against this axe. But as soon as axe ends up getting his boots, which he does have enough gold for now, it really begins to turn back around. Very interesting laning stage, to say the least. Let's take a look again at net worth. No kills so far. If you take a look at who's actually in the lead, Plexi a little bit more, 500 roughly. He's going to get the spins here, trying to deal out a little bit more damage with that battle hunger. Mid lane still waiting for their opportunity. Obviously, Power Shot's not going to be as effective against the other thing. Does get the call there, giving him a little bit of extra armor. Oh, there's the ice shards. Oh, they're so beautiful too, with a little igloo effect coming on out. That's so good. And Beastmaster ends up getting the kill because of it. Not because of the effect, because of the shards themselves. Fight recap, 326 gold swing into their favor. as well as a good chunk of EXP, and Tusk at level 3 roaming around, making his presence felt, and that's what you want to have happen. It is worth noting that this axe is going to be able to get his tranquils now as well, so that helps a good amount. And forced back to base was the Beastmaster's actually going to head on up to the top lane now. He said, screw this, I'm over it. And Tusk versus this, I think, is not going to be as effective if Tusk decides to roam back on up here. They do get the Avalanche up on top of him. They're going to be able to take on Seeking. God, he is just getting owned everywhere that he goes. Like, Axe now against Huskar. Well, decent. Are they actually just going to be able to prove me wrong here? Is he just going to die? One more right click, and all right, Complexity turning it back around. What the heck do I know? So the Tusk rotating over was able to kill the Axe. Beastmaster rotates up to the top lane. After the fact, we see the Io Tiny going up there. Axe stays down here and is able to get a kill on the Huskar with the help of the Lich. Lots happening. Stage in this game, to say the least. And the whole time, anywhere that Lich ends up going, oh, he might be a little bit caught out now. Anywhere that he ends up going, he's just going to deny more EXP. Tries to get the call off, wasn't able to make it happen now. Does have enough mana for it if he wants to go for it. Z-Freak taking a little bit more damage here as well. There's the call. That's going to create a little bit of pressure off of Z-Freak. Has to pop another salve to keep him alive. Mid lane yet again. Wind Ranger up against the Queen of Pain. Yeah, they're going to have to back on out now. So the rotations from these lanes have been pretty significant, and at the end of the day, while there is definitely a lead a little bit more so on the cores of Complexity, you're looking at 1500 roughly, I don't think that it's insurmountable. Fly here might end up dying though. God, Axe was just such a great pick, and now that he has level 6, this completely changes the dynamic. It's going to be really difficult. All right, TP's in. Vlad dropping low is going to be able to toss that out, but oh god, the tether was close. He wanted it really bad. All right, so they were able to get a kill on the Dazzle down the bot lane. Meanwhile, as well, the Tiny does, or the Io does fall up top. He can be able to turn this around. No mana for Chop. He does have mana for Chop, but not for anything else. There's the shards, making all the difference. The heal bomb coming out from the Dazzle, and that's going to be the kill. That even just at level 2 is huge. What's it's able to do in these laning stages. 500, 600 gold swing, as well as about 600 EXP as well. Looking pretty good. So far, relatively even. 1,000 gold lead into the favor of the Dire. EXP as well, we're looking at 2k. Z-Freak comfortable sitting here alone for now. When he does end up throwing that Frost Armor, Ice Armor onto the Axe, he's all of a sudden significantly more tanky and able to really deal with this Huskar in lane. Of course, this is also going to mean that the attacks are going to come in more slowly. Z's dropping low here. Io's coming on in, is going to be able to tether him on up and make sure that he's perfectly fine. Looks like he's going to be going for treads next. This does make a good amount of sense. Maybe a toss in a second. There's a pretty big stack here as well, worth noting. I'll get a right click. Get out of here, bird. How often do you see people punching birds in the face? Not often enough is my answer. Don't support animal cruelty, though. I just need to get punched in the face. All right, bottom lane on that bombshell. Swindles is going to keep on right-clicking creeps down here. That's pretty much what it is. He's going to get a decently timed Blink Dagger, probably. I imagine that that's what he goes for. I really don't expect to see a Vanguard rush here. That build is pretty much not a thing. And when you do end up getting that, the big thing is going to be starting to really make plays around the map with it. Like being able to really punish this lineup here. Oh, Sonic Wave comes on out. That's going to be Vlad going down in just a second. It does allow the Tiny to make his way out of here as well. So 2 times now that the Io has ended up getting caught out and killed. A little bit unfortunate. Still decent. That Arcane Boots now up on this Tusk as well, looking for their opportunity to jump forward. Do catch both of them with the call, but might be a little bit more than he bargained for. There's the Snowball forward, end up getting the Heal Bomb as well. There's the Chain Frost, though, coming out on top of the Tusk. Does he have enough to kill him? Oh, God, no more Frost Nova to be able to be there in time. Swindle diving deep for this one. Oh, it wasn't meant to be. Huskar gets the kill. There's the jump forward by the Io, wanting to do absolutely anything that he can, but not really in range to make it happen. And on top of that, this Tusk is already TP'd back, or healed back up to full pretty much. Z-Freak is going to end up getting caught by the Snowball, but with the Tether Slow, this might be enough to get the right-click damage down. Nicely done. Do they have enough to catch Vlad? Meanwhile, up here as well, they're going to be able to get the stun off on top of the Wind Ranger, it looks like. All right, Vlad survives the engagement. We're going to need to run away as the Wind Ranger. Don't want to end up getting taken down by that Beastmaster. But again, just action happening all over this map. Does look like you're going to refill the bottle here as well. Swindle going to be doing that one. Always nice to have that happen like that. Now jump forward again if they want on top of this Huskar. They really want to shut him down if at all possible, but so far it hasn't really been able to happen yet. Okay. EXP yet again. 2K. Gold. Getting back towards even. 500. See this next engagement where we're going to be going to.
Dire's middle tower is under
Pat Soul on the Huskar does have level 6 now. If he wants to jump on somebody, he definitely has that option, but it is very dangerous. Their little shards tossed out. Friendly neighborhood Tusk. Power shots getting thrown as well. Z-Freak with the ward. They're going to drop this one, and they have the sentry over here. Do end up not spotting out that ward, unfortunately. And Axe is just going to be taking out these stacks this whole time. Like, I think that right now, if you're Complexity, basically wait until Io ends up getting his next level on up here to get level 6, maybe by taking these stacks, and then you're going to be able to really make your presence felt across this map. You're going to be able to jump on and relocate in conjunction with Axe getting his Blink Dagger. Complexity are in a really good spot as long as they don't end up losing a couple of heroes in these next couple of minutes here. They've got all of the ingredients that they need to really be aggressive and dole out a ton of damage, but they just need that Blink Dagger up on the Axe and the level 6 on the Wisp as well. The fact that Beastmaster has Roar already does also pose a bit of a problem. All right, Io Tiny, come on over here. Avalanche after the Roar, it ends up getting popped. Oh god, disaster strikes. Tiny and Io both die. Just all of the big spells coming out at once. Roar and a Sonic Wave and a Snowball coming in at the end with the Walrus Punch. Fight recap. 1200 EXP, roughly 1200 to 1300 gold swing as well. And all of those big ultimates and abilities being thrown out all at once. Top of the poor Io Tiny. 7-4, the score or the kill score so far. The mid-range and a little bit of danger coming on out. Is going to be able to run away from this one. The Io relocating, not relocating, TPing on in now, chasing after the Beastmaster. But he's slowed down. Not going to be able to find that one, it doesn't look like. Get on out now. Well, really a whole lot more. Like, they need to be able to really farm up, but we're seeing Void Boys really pressure them because of it. They know that they don't have the advantage right now. They know that they can't really contest this very much. Oh, Axe is actually going for Vanguard. Okay. Well, I still think it's probably okay. It's tough. Alright, there's the Snowball forward. Relocate on in yet again. They're going to be able to catch on out the Dazzle there. Lich is going to fall to the... Oh, maybe not going to fall to the Tusk. The Urn is going to keep him alive. Tiny did kill the Dazzle at the same time, and now Tusk is going to fall to the Tiny as well. Back on the other side, they know that this is where the Relocate's coming from. Sneaking is there. Roar ends up connecting on his Z's. The Io still staying alive here. Is going to fall, though. And there's the jump forward yet again. Maybe going to get the kill. Does kill the Beastmaster. Dropping low. Is going to be Pat Soul yet again. But they get the kill on him. So triple kill for the Tiny at the end of the day. But we also see the Huskar pick up that kill as well. So that is going to be a 2-for-3 trade, not encountering the big team fight that happened underneath the tier 1 for the bottom of Dire. 6,000 gold swing as well as roughly 900 gold. And it looks like it's going to be a tier 2 tower, tier 1 tower down as well. Pat Soul, Armlet, Queen of Pain working towards that Orchid. We see on the Tusk Urn as well as the Arcane Boots. Dazzle Boots. And a Smoke. He's just ready to go right now. Z-Freak is going to move on through the jungle. Does get his Smoke revealed. Finds himself a little Dazzle. We also have the Queen of Pain that's over here. Need to be careful. Off to the side. Vlad ends up running right on into the Queen of Pain. One of the few times you see him running away, that is going to connect, but able to get off the tether beforehand. That's the Io Tiny toss combo with the Avalanche after the tether away, making a whole lot of damage come out very quickly, and all of a sudden Complexity looking in a better spot. They still definitely need to be able to clear on out these stacks and get this Blink Dagger up on the Axe as soon as possible. 500 gold as well as 600 EXP. Whole boatload of damage doled out. Now the Queen of Pain ends up getting hit by the Avalanche. Another toss, not going to be enough with the Shallow Grave, keeping them alive. There's the relocate away. They're coming back in just a second. Do they want to stick around for this one? That's the big question. No TP's in quite yet. Swindle not going to be able to be there in time either. I think that the IO just comes back alone here. Yeah, okay. This IO is going to be able to tether away, though, thankfully, and he makes his way out of there. Swindle's being a bud and making sure that Vlad doesn't end up going down. They do take the tier 1 tower top now. Or the tier 1 tower than the bottom that got taken a little while ago. Both of the mids gone as well, so the only tower remaining is this one right here down at about 3rd HP. Alright. Let's see how they do now. Swindles might be caught out here in just a second as well. He does have a Vanguard, so as soon as he ends up... Oh, God, he's taking a lot of damage. I think he still ends up falling, even though he has that Vanguard as well as all those charges from his sticks. There's no way he gets away from that one. A 4-man gank is a 4-man gank. Now, as well, Io trying to run away from this one. We do have the Tusk in the area with the DD on up. I don't know if they want to fight into this. A ton of heroes here going to toss on out. A Scream of Pain. Oh, Tusk getting away, but is able to get the kill there with the Io actually picking it up. And now Z's falls as well. Chain Frost does end up picking on off the Dazzle. Going in between a couple of other heroes here. Not what you want to have happen. Looks like the last Will is going to at least deal out a little bit of damage as well. Top of the Lich. Goodness gracious. Fight recap. Taking a look. 800 gold swing as well as roughly 1800 EXP. So complexity starting to catch back up. A couple of questionable initiations, I'd say, as well. The big problem that they're finding right now is that while the Tiny's getting kills, it's coming at the cost of his life. So he's right now 5th in net worth. And that's really not where you want to be. He also really hasn't been able to score. I mean, they've been doing pretty good in last hits, but the big thing is these kills and the kills on the core targets. Like Io right now also has been able to die 5 times, which isn't necessarily what you want to have happen. But pretty soon they're going to start coming online. I think this Axe Blink Dagger is going to be a really key turning point again. Probably felt like he needed to be able to get that extra damage block just to stay alive through all of the physical damage that's coming out from Void Boys, as well as obviously just the straight up bonus HP that you get from it. Nice jump away there by the Queen of Pain, not getting hit by the Avalanche, and now maybe hunting a little bit. Do have the Hawk over in the area, does end up getting picked off by the balls from the IO. Flies in the Roche Pit, sort of skulking around, does have a ward down as well. They know about him. They're still going again after sneaking up here on the top. I don't think that they end up catching him, though. Straight Ags after the Bracer is going to be the choice for the Tiny. Meanwhile, the Queen of Pain just backing out again as well. Wanting to get picked up. Alright, let's see. The Wind Ranger now TPing on back, doesn't want to end up being caught out again with no heroes showing on the map, and as soon as you end up seeing the 5 heroes over here in the jungle, probably thought that she was doing a pretty good job. The split push game is going to be pretty good, and this is something that we can talk about for a second here. IO Tiny, while you do have heroes that can rat to a certain extent, Beastmaster with the Necronomicon, also being able to toss on out the boars to push out lanes and all of those little things that he ends up having to his advantage. Oh god, this is going to be bad. Swindle ends up getting caught yet again. Roar dropped. Walrus punch. There's the Chain Frost though, doling out a good. That's sneaking, getting hit by it as well, but Huskar isn't really the one that you want to go for. Lich also died to that one, but Tiny able to take down the tower. So the Chain Frost, decent. Really, it was just a solid gank that they were able to get the kill there, and now going to be able to take Roche off the back of it. Right, recap. 800 to 700 gold swing as well as 2,000 EXP. Pretty freaking big there. Z's is going to try and trade on out this tier 2 tower here. This makes a ton of sense. You don't really have a great way to contest Roshan at this point in time. You might as well just back on out, try and apply a little bit of structural damage. But what I was talking about again about the IO Tiny combo is that, oh, are they actually going to do this? Are you kidding me? What are you guys doing? It throws the IO on in. Patzel ends up getting stunned on up by the Avalanche yet again. IO is going to fall. Patzel dropping low, doesn't it purging any slows or debuffs that were on him. There's the toss over to the other side of the map. He's just, get away from me. I don't want to see you anymore. And Huskar does end up dying. Wind Ranger ends up picking up that kill. Shackle doesn't end up landing, but Swindles is there as well with the call. And now they get the bonus movement speed. They might be able to catch the Dazzle here if they're lucky. Oh god, they end up having enough firepower to make it happen. The extra movement speed speed coming out. There's the call, and Fly's going to end up falling. Do we have any more off the back of this? The relocate gank apparently is working wonders, and now they might even be able to take Roche off the back of this. Fight recap, looking at it, 900 gold swing at the end of the day with the buyback on the IO here again to heal the rest of his team. They're going to be very comfortable with this one. I don't know if the Tusk... Oh, God, they're going to end up getting caught again. Called down. Walrus Punch was queued on up, so despite the fact that he got called, he still got Walrus Punched. Thrown on out on top of the axe. All right, buy back into the game. The Tusk, they really don't want to give this Roshan up. But he's going to be back up again in a second. The Blink Dagger is now finished for Axe, though. It's not going to be out for a little bit longer. Courier's still coming. Will it arrive? This is going to be the Roshan dead, and all of a sudden your buybacks might not be for anything. I don't know if they want to fight here. I guess the flip side of this is that you don't have a lot of these ultimates back up, but the ultimates aren't really a lot of the ways that they end up dealing their damage. Here's the jump forward into the Ancients. A huge stack over here as well. The Shackle does end up connecting, though, onto the Huskar. This is not what you want to have happen at all at the start of your team fight. Sonic Wave does deal a ton of damage. That was a huge Sonic Wave for the Radiant. They really, really needed that, and now the Ancients are just absorbed. The Lich ulti as well. Tusk does end up falling for the Axe and the IO. That's a dieback on the IO. Still looking for more if they can potentially find it. Z-Freak is going to fall. It looks like Complexity gets away with this one with only 3 going down. The key component, Aegis did get burned, and Void Boys didn't end up picking it up. Fight recap. 2,300 gold swing into their favor. 3,700 EXP. Very, very extended team fight there. And what I was mentioning again is I try making my point here, but fights keep on breaking out as well. Tiny IO in the late game, they're very much an X factor. It comes down a lot to execution, how well you're able to make decisions very quickly and rapidly and go for the most important targets. You need to know exactly when it's right time to jump forward and try and take down a tier 3 tower, and when it's the right time to come on back and defend. And at that point in time, all of the gold swings in the world aren't really going to make a huge difference. What's really going to make the big difference is how together you are as a team, how much you're able to make decisions properly. And we'll see which team is going to be able to deal with that. It doesn't look like Void Boys are really going to be able to push this down too hard or too fast, I don't think. Did they drop a Vanguard? Does Axe? Okay, no. That's Tusk's or somebody's Vanguard. The hell? Apparently Vanguard was dropped down on the ground. No big deal. Absolutely no problem. So Orchid now up on the Queen of Pain. We have the Aghanims up on the Tiny. Hasn't really gone for any other very serious items quite yet, but his farm is going to really start to increase now that he's got that cleave damage built into him as well. Couple man smoke coming in, but the 5-man from Void Boys has been pretty strong. They've consistently been doing it. So a 2-man smoke as well as a 3-man smoke as well as a 5-man smoke. I think at this point, if you're Complexity, you realize what's happening and are going to want to try and get out of here as soon as possible. Oh, Swindles. He's going to end up getting spotted here. He just ended up starting to take those Ancients. Needs to blink away if at all possible. He also doesn't have a call at this point. Nice jump away, but the Roar ends up turning around and catching Swindles. Oh, God, the TP. Is he going to be able to make it out? No. Dazzle ends up getting the last hit there with the heal bomb. Fly is on a killing spree, apparently. Very, very nicely done. 2,000 gold swing, 2,500 EXP. Looks like this tier 2 tower might end up falling as the glyph is used. So a bit of a tit for tat trade in the towers. Maybe be able to kill this little Tusk here as well. One more right click might be enough to do it. And Tiny just ends up beating him to death. All right, so with the Tusk actually gone, maybe they can try and push the tier 3 top as well. This is one of those things that I'm talking about. The overcharge on top of the Tiny, dealing out a lot of damage to this tower. The Queen of Pain, the only one here to potentially stop it, is going to jump forward and try and see if she can take out the IO, but the IO dodge. Oh, God, Pat Soul's back now as well. They need to relocate out of here as soon as possible. Nice relocate away. This is going to be at least the IO dead, though. I don't think they go back in again with the Tiny. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to do that unless they are just ballsy. Okay. Okay, he tossed him first. I was hoping to make some type of interaction. Did that actually work? Are you kidding me? Does that work? Vlad stays alive. What? All right. Apparently Vlad stayed alive after the toss. Okay, I feel like I'm missing something else there. There was a couple of other interactions that ended up happening. Did also see the TP scroll used potentially with the tether going on, so maybe he tethered at the same time, but it looked like it might have been the toss to make it work. If that's the way that works, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to go on in and test this later in client, but it might have just been the TP to the, or the tether to the creep wave with the TP going on as well. Tough to tell. All right. So let's take a look again at the net worth chart, see where we're at. Once again, complexity, while still ahead, Void Boys have been able to work their way back into this game. EXP, just about 4,000 gold lead for them. Void Boys have been looking very, very strong this game. Just when you think that they're going to start to fall a little bit more, like, they've been able to really work the 5-man well. Huskar picks worked out for them well as well. You do have the Heaven's Halberd up now, and the Armlet on the Huskar. Helm of the Dominator completed. Dazzle with the Solar Crest is good, and the fact of the matter is that when you have an axe that's so good at being able to just get on in there and chop them down at the last second, it's really, really difficult to fight as a Huskar into any type of thing like that. All right, looks like they're going to be going for Z's yet again. Do end up hitting the Walrus Punch one time. No, not going to be able to get him there. Might have been a little craggy exterior proc. Oh, Shackle doesn't end up connecting. They're waiting for their opportunity. Swindle's still sitting off to the side with the Blink Dagger up. Does also have all if they want to use it. There's the stun immediately, takes out the Tusk at the start of the fight. Swindle's still looking for his opportunity to jump forward. They do end up catching off to the side here. That is going to be another dead Queen of Pain. I think they can take this fight now. Complexity looking very strong. Swindle's running away, is going to die to the burn damage of the Huskar. Ends up getting a Habit Toss on top of Fly, but Pat Soul is starting to go ham. There's the Roar, able to take the IO out of this fight. He's not going to be able to relocate Z's away. This is going to be a dead Tiny. I do believe maybe the Wind Ranger going to turn this one back around, but I don't think it's going to end up being enough. There's the TP away after the Wind Run. Very, very wise decision making there by the Wind Ranger to make sure she doesn't end up losing her life as well. 2 for 3 is the final tally. 1,400 gold swing, 2,200 EXP. Now sneaking the Blink Dagger. Does also have the Necronomicon level 3. This is where initiations become really, really important. Void Boys to make sure they hit it right. Oh my goodness.
Dire's bottom
So yeah, the toss to the time to tether is what that was apparently. Alright, Z-Freak now taking a little bit more damage. Tusk gets shackled. He's just gonna end up getting right-clicked down. We do end up seeing the Lich go down as well, but yeah, it's going to be perfectly fine. Axe, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, takes out the Beastmaster after the relocate gank. Coming out oh so strong. Right, and the fight recap tells us a tale of 1,100 gold as well as 1,600 EXP change into their favor. Queen of Pain working towards potentially that Aghanim Scepter. I would imagine at this point in time, considering you're going to be going up against a lineup that might be trying to split push you, you want to make sure that you're able to get that and clear out those creep waves consistently. Does have the gem being brought out as well to that Dazzle. This is going to make dewarding significantly more easy. All right. Oh, all right. Swindle. Waiting for his moment now. Might be able to find Omega Power here. Nice blink away. Very, very smooth sailing there. And no real problem at all. All right. Pat Soul hasn't really progressed in items a ton. He is top of the net worth, though. And in terms of these other items here as well, as I mentioned, Aghanim Scepter is soon to be coming up on this Queen of Pain, only about 1,600 gold away from finishing that one off. The Wind Ranger, Blink, as well as the Aghanim Scepter. Probably could go for another... I don't necessarily know. BKB might be an okay item here, just to be able to deal with all the magical damage that's coming out. I mean, there's a lot of physical as well, but maybe she doesn't need it. The majority of it's coming out by virtue of the Huskar, and if you're just able to Wind Run away from it, then it's kind of not a huge deal. Burning Spear is just so potent, and how much it really ends up just destroying your face depending upon what's going on. Looks like Tony's going to end up going for the AC next. We do see the Roar come out on top of him. There is the TP, but the Relocate's going to keep him alive a little bit longer. Z-Freak now, Force Staff up, as well as working on that mechanism. It's too bad. Like, they can't even really fight this close to the base, honestly. Huskar does end up getting that last hit there. And it looks like Io is going to fall. Moving on up into the barracks now. This is going to be a bit of a problem with Io dead. Does not have buyback at this point in time either. 240 gold away from finishing that one off. Necronomicon's up on the high ground. Okay, they're going to be able to get out of here, it looks like. And looks like that's going to be a jump forward. coL does end up catching onto Pat's soul. Not sure if it's going to be enough. Shards do end up connecting as well. There's the Walrus Punch, keeping a little bit of extra damage. There's Sonic Wave ends up connecting. Looks like Wind Ranger's going to survive at least the initial salvo. Swindle's now trying to turn it back around, but he is dead. They need to buy back. They need this desperately to be able to kill off the Huskar. If they don't have the axe, it's almost impossible just because of the Dazzle Grave. It did already get expended, but still a little bit tough. Nice Shackle there, going to connect yet again. Does look like they're going to keep him alive with the rest of his team off to the side. Swindle taking a lot of damage. Another Blade Mail is popped, and Patsoul dropping's low, but not low enough. Ziz is a monster in the middle of all of it, but Huskar kind of a more dangerous monster. There's going to be a little bit more damage on top. The Queen of Pain does blink away yet again. Swindle is Glimmer caped up and trying to call to keep him alive as long as possible. Ziz ends up falling. Patsoul finally falls as well. And Omega Pwn are doing work at this point in time. Wind Ranger, triple kill for this Queen of Pain. It doesn't look like it's ever going to stop at this point. They're just running on into face. Wind Ranger does buy back now. This could be what they need to be able to turn this back around. There is the double kill for the axe. Do they have enough to take out the Dazzle? No. So several buybacks expended in that last engagement, very much coming out into the favor of Void Boys, and also being able to have that other barracks taken out. It is just the range, but still pretty huge. 1,700 gold swing as well as about 2k EXP. Very, very nicely done. Let's take a look at net worth. 2,500 and EXP about 2,500 into the favor of complexity. So going back and forth depending upon which way you're looking at it here. EXP into the favor of Void Boys with the complexity taking the lead in EXP. All right, Z-Freak now still trying to work on that mechanism desperately. They really need to be able to get that extra regen up for their team. Is going to be able to... Just a siege creep hanging out over here. Don't worry. Don't mind me. I'm just Z-Freak. They're going to be able to take out this catapult and accept fate, and finally does fall. All right, TP's in again. They're ready to keep the pressure on now. 5-man smoke. Complexity, God, don't get caught out. They should know about this, probably, I would imagine. Oh, you know what? If they went straight mid, there's a chance they would have been able to catch them there, but looks like they're going to be going through the bottom lane instead, which might be a little bit tough. All right. Force Staff, as well as the headdress, finished off on the Lich. Has enough for the mechanism now. Does also pick up the smoke. So recognizing the inherent danger of the smoke, we see Complexity move on up into their jungle, opting to take that out the rest of the way. Now instead, Void Boy's coming on in to take out Roshan. The pings come out. Roche respawning after the little Cardi catapult and the Lich both vacate the scene, and now they're ready to go on in and really press the advantage that they've been able to build in this game. Void Boy's looking to potentially take game one here. Best of 3. Soul pushing him on out again. He has his Aegis, so this is really what I was talking about again, is that you have the IO Tiny combo. You can't really afford to move on out and try and take barracks if all of the other lanes are pushed, because you're pretty much just going to run into a situation where you're going to get ratted by them. You lose a barracks, and maybe if the team fight doesn't like win convincingly for you, you're just going to end up losing a barracks for nothing. So those types of key decision-making moments are really important, and Void Boy's playing this very safe, not wanting to give away anything at this point in time. It's also worth noting these teams are very evenly matched, not just in this game, but in terms of their rankings and how people were viewing this series coming into it. Around 50-50 were what the odds that were given. Swindles again, does have the ice armor up on him. Blade Mail, Blink Dagger, Vanguard, everything. Ooh, wanted to go for the Roar there. The Haste Rune up. He might be able to potentially find him here. Pops the Necronomicon's level 2, and now all of the sudden, complexity a little bit spread out. They're going to be able to push on up into this high ground here. We do have the Creep Wave very shortly going to arrive. Shackle ends up connecting, but it's on a Necronomicon and a Boar. They are going to be able to take these out. Do they have any form of initiation to really turn this back around? Not a huge Creep Wave, so Axe doesn't want to jump on into it necessarily. Blink Dagger is still up, though, and they're just going to be able to walk on up, take the barracks, and what do you do against this for complexity? There's nothing you can do. Oh, man, very frustrating. Be looking for a reinitiation. There's the jump forward. Don't want to waste the Roar. They do end up using it, but the Sonic Wave not going to connect. Nice Force Staff as Z-Freak to help his buddy out. Mr. Axe, and meanwhile, bottom lane yet again. Here's the problem. Immediately. Oh, silence onto the IO. This could be devastating right now. Is going to end up being able to turn this back around. Z's trying to TP away. The snowball doesn't connect. Able to get out. Oh, say it ain't so. Man, and you know what? They might be bringing him back at this point. Oh, God, if they're able to actually make this work. There's the jump forward. Not going to be able to get it immediately. Stun on up. Avalanche toss on top of one. That's Tusk immediately going down. Now we also have flyover in the area as well. Lots of damage being dealt out to Pat Soul. He does end up falling. Swindle able to tank through the damage. He's coming back in just a second, though. I think they have enough to kill him yet again. Shackle coming down immediately. So much damage. Where is the dunk? They need it. Swindles. There it is. That's going to be enough for the kill. Sonic Wave or not, they're going to be able to get that kill. And Omega Poner gonna go down as well, just like that. Complexity fight their way back on into this game, take a huge team fight. That's around 4,000 gold swing, 4,800 EXP, but most importantly now, they're going to be able to move on up into their high ground of their own, buyback by the Huskar immediately. Now they back on up, 4K net worth lead for Void Boys. Complexity starting to build on up the EXP lead though. Tiny now sits top of the net worth. Buyback status across the board. He has AC also on top of the Aghanims. We do have a buyback on the Quap, we have a buyback on the Tiny, and a buyback on the IO. Oh, they end up connecting here. No Aegis up for another couple of minutes, but Complexity is fairly spread out. Yeah, they're going to be fine. He just walks away from that one. Relocate to safety just to be sure. This might end up being IO getting killed, though. Not looking to go for it. Yeah, okay, he's going to relocate back, but with Tusk or with Axe being here, he should be fine. Yeah, there's no way. They weren't going for it, and Axe had eyes on the situation the whole time. So Void Boys starting to see their lead diminish.
Thank you.
Complexity very, very high in terms of their EXP as well. Plate mail up on the Huskar. That's going to help out his armor situation, which is always oh so dangerous for that hero. The AC already up on the Tiny. It becomes very, very difficult to do anything. Beastmaster also going to be picking one up. Might be a Shiva's Guard eventually here for him. So ready to push on down this other tower here yet again. IO Tiny moving on over with the TT on the Tiny. That is so much damage. God, they're ready to go if they really want to try and fight this. They're going to be going straight for the tier 2 now, though, and almost can out DPS it. He's straight up. Well, yeah, he doesn't want to end up having to do that. Bring the creep wave with you, then go after the fact. They're going to sack this tier 2 tower bottom. Whole time, Wind Ranger's going to be farming. IO Tiny are going to be trying to put a little bit of split push on. If they would have had the creep wave right there, it would have made a huge difference, but not going to be able to happen this time around. The Haste Rune is going to be up yet again. You see Vlad pick that one up. This game, 36 minutes in, roughly 55 kills so far. Pretty big lead being able to be built by Void Boys in the early stages and then slip away from them throughout the course of the game. Complexity now on top. Okay. Z-Freak, still comfortable at this point in time. Doesn't really have the kit to be able to build on into a Guardian Greaves, but he might end up trading in his Tranquil Boots at some point in time for that. This as well now, gonna pick on up Ogre Club. Might be worth it just to go for that Aghanims to a certain extent. Like, this is one of those few games where, like, Aghanims isn't just about, like, sort of being able to go a little bit more ham in a pub. Like, this is where it legitimately makes a pretty big difference because of that Grave and because of the Huskar. Being able to raise up that threshold where you can dunk somebody. And he has it now if he really does want to go for it, but I mean, it could just be for straight BKB also if you wanted. Kind of depends on what's more important to him, but it does look like it's going to be the BKB. Probably the safer option. Ags might still be a little bit too much luxury. It does sort of feel like it might be one of those games where the key component is going to be if Axe is going to be able to get off that dunk. And maybe the thought here is instead of trying to burst them down more quickly, just make sure that you're alive for the dunk when it ends up coming. Let the dunk come to you. I guess what we could say there. So this is going to keep him a lot more survivable in these team fights. Huskar isn't going to hurt as much. Tusk isn't going to be able to do as much. Obviously, of course, Queen of Pain with the Scream of Pain going to dole out that damage, but Sonic Wave's still going to be yelling up in Mr. Axe's ear. Alright, 5,000 gold on this Tiny. He's in a very comfortable spot. They aren't going to be able to take down this ward quite yet. I'm not sure exactly what Wendell's trying to do right there. Just hanging out for a second. We do also get the Sigil floating on over them. Going to be able to scout on out Roshan. They're waiting for this next one. They don't want to end up really making any moves until that comes up. BKB is also going to be the item now for the Tiny, which makes a lot of sense. He needs to be able to dole out that damage as well, and if he ends up getting kited throughout the whole course of the game, it's not going to go well. Z-Freak now, Force Staff, Gem, Mechanism, Tranquils. Axe still trying to farm up. Vlad doesn't have to be comfortable at this point in time with the Glimmer Cape in. Meanwhile, the Solar Crest still up on the Dazzle. Pat's Soul been able to build on into a Satanic, so starting to hit these bigger items. Just went for the casual plate mail. As I mentioned, the plate mail up on the Beastmaster. Plate mail up on the Queen of Pain. Everybody wants armor. Pretty much the name of the game this time around. And Roshan still a little bit away before it's going to respawn. I believe in you guys. You can do it. In terms of the lineup that ends up being able to take that fight a little bit easier, normally I would say that I feel like Void Boys is a little bit stronger there, just because of the roar, the ability to tossing out those shards and create the separation dynamic, the fact that Queen of Pain is such a mobile hero. But the fact that you still do have Io with the relocate in there, if he's able to farm buyback by the time this next fight comes around, which I don't think he's going to be able to by the time Roche is up, there's really no way unless he sells something. Yeah, with no buyback on the Io, I guess that's still probably a favorite a little bit more. Like, they're also going to have the vision advantage because of these Hawks that are going to keep on getting casted out. It really depends also on who... If you're able to get the roar off on Void Boys, then clearly you're going to be the favorite there. If you're able to get the call off with Axe, vice versa. The other thing here as well is that Huskar is going to have his buyback off cooldown relatively soon. Still 1,000 gold away from finishing that one off, but we'll at least have it off cooldown. And maybe if he ends up taking a couple of solid fights here, it's going to be good enough. All right, there's the 5-man smoke. Everybody should know what's going on. 5-man smoke into 5-man smoke. Who gets initiated on? Oh, they're going to end up finding him right away. There's the jump forward. Doesn't end up catching the call. Nice save of it there. You get the roar off on top of Swindle. Not the best initiation, but not the worst either. The big thing now is you're going to have a call back up. You're not going to have a roar back up. So I think Complexity now are in a pretty good position to be able to take this if they want. They certainly want to be able to fight beforehand. So... I think the play right now is to go and try and find a call with Axe. You've already used Roar. It is on a relatively low-ish cooldown. Maybe you have to do it before before Roar is back up if they're going to do it at all. Vlad up on the high ground, being a little bit careful there. The Hawk is going to be able to spot all this out. They know what's going on. You also have Beastmaster coming back in from the top side. There's Aegis come on out and Wind Ranger picks it up, and all of a sudden you're not really able to get the initiation that you wanted. Off to the side, Queen of Pain trying to chase after this Axe, but wasn't going to be able to make it happen. I think that he went for a blink call, but missed it. So very comfortable now. Complexity. That's huge, the fact that they were able to take away the Aegis from them there. 1,800 is going 19,000 rather is going to be the net worth up on this Tiny. Last hits. whole heck of a lot. Hero levels, we're looking pretty good, honestly. Your complexity now, like the fact that they've been able to get their way back into this game, like they've been nursing a really good EXP lead, which mainly is just showing itself through the stats they've been able to build up now. So I don't know. I think at this point the key thing is they need to get a lot out of this Tiny in terms of his consistently being able to be in the right place for these rats. If Tiny gets caught out and killed at any point in time in these games, you're just going to end up losing it, I think. Cheese is up on him now, so that becomes a lot less likely. And also, obviously, feed that cheese to the IO for a nice little dual hero heal back up, which is always good to have. Another Sigil. The vision game is so strong here out of Void Boys. Like, Sigil and Hawk, it's all just going to be able to be really, really effective. Alright, split push coming out now from Void Boys. They want to press the luck whenever they can. Necronomicon's level 3 are over there. They still need to wait for this next little creep wave, but honestly, they can out-DPS this tower so quickly. Tiny ends up taking it out. That is the relocate back to be able to clear out this creep wave, and then they're going to be right in the middle of things again. They want to, actually. They can probably go for a bit of high ground here. They have the Aegis on up. They're relocating on back. The only thing is that they have to go quickly before this next creep wave comes in. And it's going to be there in just a second. So I think that they trade here. The problem, you don't end up having... Oh, this actually could be really bad. There's no TP on the Tiny right now. If they're able to really pressure this top racks with no relocate for another couple of seconds, this might actually have been a problem. They don't really have any choice now but to go for this one. Up in the top lane, we do still see them taking on out the racks for the Queen of Pain as well as the Beastmaster. You would thought that they might be going back, but they don't really feel like they can fight into this Aegis, so instead they're just going to opt to trade racks and should be able to get close towards the tier 3 bottom as well in a second. Take on out the tier 3 top or in the mid lane, and now they're going to be able to TP on back and defend this. Oh god, this is actually really, really scary right now. This is huge. Shiva's Guard into all of them. Alright, BKBs are popped across the board. Sonic Wave ends up hitting onto 2 yet again. Swindles has taken a lot of damage, but there's the Blade Mill. He's going to be able to dunk down on top of the Beastmaster. Buy back into the game. Huskfly is back as well. Tiny is just tearing people apart with that BKB doing so much work. Swindles is dropping low again. I think he's going to be able to maybe get one more dunk. No, that's the Huskar starting to go ham, and now Z's and Vlad need to get out of here. Z-Freak is going to finally fall. Maybe the Wind Ranger as well. Yeah, they're going to be able to catch this Tusk. Oh god, they're all going to die. It was a disaster. Disease is going to end up falling as well. There were buybacks abound, but they're able to make the most of it. The Tusk did end up falling at the end, but 5 hero wipe now, and TP Boots immediately to the top lane. Sneaking's going for this one. Taking a look at that fight recap. 3 buybacks expended. What is the buyback status right now for the Dire? We do see one immediately by the IO as well as the Lich. All of them have it, so they're going to need to use as few of these as possible is the hope. They need to defend this last Rax, because you look at what this Rax situation is. Mid, you ended up losing the melee, so yeah, they're backing out now. I think they're pretty comfortable leaving it at that. If they're able to force out all of these buybacks, well, they want to get really the biggest one is the Tiny. If they can force the Tiny buyback, that's really potentially game winning here. If they don't, then that it's still really good situation for them. There's the call immediately. Patsoul buyback by both of the other heroes. Now they just try and get away with as many heroes as they can, and Huskar is just going to make his way out of here. He has buyback if he needs to. If he's able to kill another hero here, the IO, this would be huge. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen though. Well, the burn damage is ticking down. Is he going to be able to make it? Gets inside the fountain and should be fine. Cheese ends up getting dropped down on the ground by the IO, but the big thing, Huskar has buyback right now, as does the Dazzle. So even if they get the pick off on the Dazzle at the start of the fight, he's going to be able to be back on into there. Another couple of buybacks expended. Everybody loses gold. But again, putting those on cooldown, most important part of this right now. Net worth, huge spike up. Oh god, 7,500 swing. EXP, we're looking to be back towards 0. An unfortunate disconnect now as well. Wind Ranger is going to end up DCing. Hopefully they end up getting back into this game relatively soon. Jeez. Well, at the end of the day, talked about it there for a second, that the Tiny relocating back up to the top barracks, if you end up going for that, going to be able to hit away at them, clear out the creep wave, fine. You come back in, you can push on out the mid lane, but if you do that, all of a sudden, if you don't have a TP back on your Tiny, or even if they're able to cancel the TP with something like a Tusk, it's just, it's I don't know. It seemed a little bit too far forward. That might have been the play that ended up costing them. Like, they were able to get a lot there, but with the Queen of Pain jumping in and being able to destroy that top barracks, it just all turned around right there. Oh, God. I can't believe it. What a turnaround. What a freaking turnaround. All right, Fly now. Glimmer Cape, Force Staff hasn't really progressed a ton in items, but he doesn't need to. He's a Dazzle. Tusk just going for the Ultra Mobility build. If they don't actually have to buy back on Huskar now, they're really, really good. MKB is going to be the item as well now for the Tiny. That Solar Crest continuing to apply so much of that dodge coming out. It's definitely necessary, and this isn't something that you want to be building on Tiny. All right, there's the relocate in. They're going to be going for these barracks. All of a sudden, big bad and in control, Mr. Tiny is talking about. What are you guys saying? We did not throw it in the least bit. It was like 6 hits, and he just killed the barracks. The AC in conjunction with the overcharge is just so ridiculously strong. And this is the part where, Void Boys, you need to keep these lanes pushed out. That helps a lot in terms of cause. Not only is it a set of racks, but it's also a set of racks on the lane where they still have the tier 3 tower. Question is, are they going to be able to have enough to turn this rest of this team fights around? I feel like they're going to be able to, but it's tough to tell. 47 minutes on into it, and it still feels like we could go another 20, depending upon how these next few engagements goes. Looks like Huskar might be picking on up another item for himself, probably a BKB as well. Have a decent amount of magical damage, but the big thing is just the control that they're able to level against him. It's tough because also, like, the call from the axe isn't necessarily... It's still going to obviously pierce through BKB, so I don't know. I feel like it's too late to be going for anything like a Sanjin Yasha or anything like that. Queen of Pain, Orchid, Shiva's, Aghanims. Looks like she's going to be going for a Sheep Stick pretty soon here as well. What else do we have across the way? Link Dagger, Beastmaster, Necronomicon level 3, Vlad's, TP Boots, and the BKB. He's ready to rock, ready to roll. And Z's is just going to push on out these creep waves consistently. MKB on up, as is the BKB, all the KBs. Z-Freak leveling down the ice armor as well. IO after the Glimmer Cape and the Vlads and everything else. Should be fine now. They're just going to clear on out these Necronomicons. Guys actually deal a good amount of damage here. It's not anything to trifle with. All right, this could be a problem yet again. Like, Tiny is just going to be here again in a second if you don't end up dealing with this. As soon as these creeps are in the base, all of a sudden you're going to have problems. Like, this is maybe 2 or 3 hits, the IO Tiny. Dealing roughly 400 to 500 damage per hit. Let's see now. Swindle on the axe has also been able to pick on up the Crimson Guard. I feel like this axe play has been able to do what he's needed to do to a certain extent. Earlier on, going for the Vanguard first was a little bit surprising, and I still am not sure if that was the perfect item choice to be able to go for early, but considering how that ended up turning out, I feel like he's been able to make a lot of it since then. MKB is going to be the item on the Wind Ranger. Looks like we're going to have several heroes rotating around, seeing if they could potentially find them over here. Beastmaster does have Vision of Z-Freak, so this is a very dead lich. Oh god, yeah, that's not what you want to happen. He tries to TP away in the trees and immediately gets roared. Walrus Punch comes down as well. Chain Frost is still bouncing, but after the Blink Away by the Queen of Pain is going to be fine. Another little snow ice cube thing getting tossed up by the Tusk.
Dark light.
KB up on the Huskar, indeed. So a nice little gold swing there. With the kill on the Lich, at this point in time, Complexity feel content pushing down this bottom lane. Again, They do have a TP on the Tiny now, though, so this might be the changing point. The fact that they actually have this, they're going to be able to kill this creep wave. They need to get back so quickly, though. This is really, really scary right now. They're going for it. They're actually going to be going for the base race. I think that they can outpush this lineup right now, and honestly, Void Boys, maybe they're going to be able to get back and defend, but Z's is going for it. Back and forth we go. Do they have enough to take this around? They're going to try and cancel the TPs now, able to get at least one. Z's dealing so much damage to this tower, just trying to create that extra little bit of separation. Does have BKB popped. He's actually going to be able to go for this one. Ancient has fallen fast. Vlad doing everything he can. It's back. Oh, I wanted it. Wind Ranger is going to be able to get killed. And now, with the creeps still right on up here in the base, maybe they go for another round of this. No, Io is just going to be coming back on his lonesome. So the tier 4 towers are dead. The Ancient's going to end up regenning. It looked close. It looked really close. Oh my god. My heart be still. That's 400 gold swing, 4,200 EXP as well. If they would have potentially canceled a few more of those TPs on the backside, they might have been able to find that one. But Void Boys, after that little bit of an engagement, are in some trouble now. Buyback status on the Wind Ranger does not have it for another 32 seconds, but we'll be up in a second. So yeah, they're coming on back. They really don't want it. Like, they have to keep these lanes pushed out at this point. With the Aegis under 2,000 HP, Tiny can just tear that apart, and the Rat game is so strong. Moonshard is up now as well on Tiny. Ugh, Jeebus. Like, this attack speed is going through the roof. I would like to see them try and push out this top lane as well, but it's kind of tough with those creeps there. Several smokes picked up by both teams. Lich gets a couple of them. Bottom lane going to be pushed in by Void Boys now as well. Even on Rax, it's a little super creeps against super creeps. No megas yet to be shown up in this game. But honestly, it's like when you've got this much already taken away from the base of Void Boys, there's never going to be a point until that Ancient is falling where they're comfortable. Tiny is always going to be able to rat you, no matter what, even with mega creeps, and they've got a good amount of push as well. Potentially, you end up seeing an Aghanim Scepter finished up for the Lich next. Like, that probably is going to be his next item, just for the wave clear factor and the fact that he's able to have Chain Frost up all the time. Seems like it could be the play, and also, though, I mean, they've just got so much wave clear across the board. All right, top lane getting pushed out. They're going to be able to take Roshan in the meantime for Void Boys, and this is pretty huge. But still concerned. I'm still very concerned. If they knew this was going on right now, they could honestly just run up the... And he's going for it. They're going to be able to push this creep wave on into here, and the Roche gets taken, but now they're going straight for the Aegis, and oh god, so much stuns coming out on top of Z's. They end up taking the Ancient. They win. GG gets called. Smoke tactics. Oh, complexity. You did it. That was the thing. They end up going for the Roshan, but as soon as that happens, the Axe was able to push out the creep wave, take off the backdoor protection, and so much damage going out. Complexity go for the all-in. Very nicely played. Always love to see that. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast, and we'll be back in just a second for Game 2.